Hello, viewers. Let us recapitulate the concepts, whatever we learned in last session. In the part of human respiratory system, we completed oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve. So the oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve is a graphical representation between partial pressure of oxygen and percentage saturation of hemoglobin. That things we learned. Besides that, also we completed Bohr effect phenomena. Alright. So this is oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve, sigma shape curve. Okay, let us start today's topic, that is transport of carbon dioxide. In the transport of respiratory gases, we finished transport of oxygen. So the subsequent topic is transport of carbon dioxide. It is an important topic asked in description and as well as ask questions from it in entrance examinations also. Okay, so you have to follow the visuals clearly and then understand easily. The carbon dioxide is produced due to catabolic reactions in our cells. Example, the digested food material undergoes cellular respiration and yields energy. During that time, the carbon dioxide to be produced. So, by the oxidation of digested food material, yields what? Carbon dioxide followed. So, in that way, not only oxidation of digested food material, any catabolic reactions to be yields carbon dioxide. Such carbon dioxide from the cells to be absorbed into blood as gaseous form. You remember the carbon dioxide that whatever produced in the cell, that to be absorbed into the blood as what status? Gaseous status. Okay, right. Next, the blood is the medium of transport for oxygen and carbon dioxide. Already we learned this thing in last class. So you observe this visual. The oxygen contained atmospheric air enter into alveoli. The blood picks up oxygen, transport it to tissue, and then the produced carbon dioxide from tissue delivered into blood, and the carbon dioxide transported to the alveoli, which expel out during expiration. Followed. So blood acts as a medium of transport for oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. Alright, right. Next, the transport of carbon dioxide mediated by two methods. Remember, in the same in transport of oxygen also we learned two methods. Here also, the transport of carbon dioxide mediated by two methods. They are transport of carbon dioxide through plasma and transport of carbon dioxide by erythrocytes RBC, red blood corpuscles. So the carbon dioxide transported by plasma as well as erythrocytes RBC. Right. The transport of carbon dioxide through plasma, in what way it achieved, let us see. About 7% of carbon dioxide transported by plasma. The fraction about 7% of carbon dioxide transported through blood plasma. Alright. In what way transported? In dissolved state. So here the carbon dioxide gas solubility greater than oxygen. So it easily dissolved in the water that present in plasma of the blood. So it dissolved in water of plasma of the blood, then it transported as what form? Dissolved form. Follow students, right? Due to its high solubility nature, it capable to dissolve. If we observe the pH of the blood, oxygenated blood that present in arteries, deoxygenated blood, venous blood that is, comparatively the pH value of deoxygenated blood lower than oxygenated blood. Why? Let us see. Right. Carbon dioxide show high solubility than oxygen. You observe the carbon dioxide molecule diffuse into plasma. Alright. Now the carbon dioxide reacts with water, combines with water and produce H2CO3 carbonic acid. You observe this visual. So the carbon dioxide going to combine with water and produce what? H2CO3 carbonic acid. Due to the carbonic acid, automatically the pH value of the blood, what happened? Decreases. The pH value decreases at tissue. So that's why comparatively with oxygenated blood, the deoxygenated blood pH value is lower. Ask in entrance examination. Reasons are most important, students. Yes. Next, let us see the transport of carbon dioxide through RBC. In what way it achieved? Let us see. It is mediated by two ways, that is through hemoglobin, and second one is as bicarbonates form, that explained by scientist Hamburger, hence it is termed as Hamburger's mechanism. So the carbon dioxide transported through RBC by two ways. One is by hemoglobin molecule and second one is as bicarbonate form. Followed? Right. Let us see the first way, that is through hemoglobin. Approximately 27% of carbon dioxide transported by hemoglobin in the form of carbaminohemoglobin. Majority of students believe that the hemoglobin transports only oxygen. Remember, students, the hemoglobin not only transport oxygen, so it can also able to transport carbon dioxide also in the form of carbaminohemoglobin. Why such ability that hemoglobin has? Let us see. The hemoglobin molecule capable to pick up carbon dioxide from tissues and it forms carbaminohemoglobin. How it is possible? You observe it is completely based on pressure gradient. So the hemoglobin molecule is a amphoteric compound. Because of it possible. It is a amphoteric compound. What does it mean amphoteric compound? It is chemically reacting either as an acid or base. That's why, suppose if oxygen partial pressure is more, then it picks up oxygen, relieves carbon dioxide. Alright. Suppose carbon dioxide partial pressure is more, it if it relieves oxygen and picks up carbon dioxide. So at a tissue, actually the carbon dioxide partial pressure gradient is higher. That's why hemoglobin molecule capable to pick up carbon dioxide from the tissue. At alveoli, oxygen partial pressure is more. Due to its amphoteric nature, it relieves the carbon dioxide and picks up the oxygen. That is the ability of the hemoglobin. Follow, students. Right. Next, how the carbaminohemoglobin to be produced? Let us see. The high partial pressure of carbon dioxide required and low partial pressure of oxygen required. Only these two conditions favors it. In this condition, the hemoglobin molecule going to combine with carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide binds with amino acids, any amino acid of hemoglobin molecule at a tissue and produce, it binds with any free amino acid at tissue and produce HNCO2, otherwise NHCO2. It called as carbaminohemoglobin. You remember the chemical compound name carbaminohemoglobin to be produced. Besides that, hydrogen plus ions also produced. Follow? Hydrogen plus ions also produce. So the entire reaction occur at tissue. So the here you observe the carbaminohemoglobin not a permanent compound. It is a temporary compound, unstable compound. It immediately dissociates when oxygen partial pressure is more. So, if we observe the same carbaminohemoglobin compound at alveoli, what happens? Their oxygen partial pressure is more. That's why it receives oxygen and relieves the carbon dioxide. How it is possible? The carbaminohemoglobin breakdown and give rise again carbon dioxide and Hb. So that carbon dioxide released into alveolar space and that expel out during expiration. So it is a reversible reaction. So forward reaction takes place at a tissue and the reversible reaction occur at alveoli. Follow? So this is transport of carbon dioxide through hemoglobin. Followed? Right. Next, let us see the next phenomena, next way, that is Hamburger's phenomena, Hamburger's mechanism. The scientist Hamburgers revealed this phenomena, entire phenomena, whatever chemical changes occur in this phenomena, that things revealed by scientist Hamburger, that's why it denoted as Hamburger's phenomena. Followed? So, let us see. The transport of carbon dioxide by RBC in the form of bicarbonates in this mechanism. So that is Hamburger's phenomena. Simple. So the carbon dioxide molecule, the carbon dioxide gas transported by RBC in the form of bicarbonate. That is Hamburger phenomena. So it is the next way. Approximately 70% of carbon dioxide transported as bicarbonates. Remember students, is very important. Why? Because larger fraction of carbon dioxide transported by this way, 70%. So next below level is occupied by hemoglobin, least level occupied by plasma as dissolved state. Okay, so 70% of carbon dioxide transported in the form of bicarbonates through Hamburger's mechanism. Let us see in detail. So this phenomena takes place in two phases. The first phase extended between tissue and RBC and second phase extended between RBC and alveoli. So two sites are required to extend this phenomena. What are the locations? First phase extended between tissue and RBC. The second phase extended between RBC and lungs. Let us discuss about first phase. So phase 1, the chemical changes occur in the phase 1. Let us see. So it takes place between tissue and RBC. So the sequential events that restricted to phase 1 are as follows. You observe the first event is diffusion of carbon dioxide into RBC and plasma. Followed? So the first event is diffusion of carbon dioxide into RBC and plasma. Second event is formation of carbonic acid. Next, breakdown of carbonic acid and reduction of hemoglobin chloride shift. These 5 changes to be occur in phase 1. Follow students? Right. Let us see in detail about every change, and before that phase 2 changes you observe it takes place between RBC and alveoli. Here are all these changes what we found in phase 1 reverse manner they continues. They are reverse chloride shift and oxidation of hemoglobin and formation of carbonic acid, breakdown of carbonic acid, release of carbon dioxide into alveolar space. Followed? Complete reversible phenomena. So first let us see phase 1. It extended between tissue and RBC. So tissue visual, RBC visual. So here what happens, mainly the based on partial pressure of carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide molecules enter into RBC. So it is possible, it is based completely partial gradient of carbon dioxide. The phase 1 extended in between tissue and RBC. The first chain, the diffusion of carbon dioxide into RBC and plasma. RBC are nothing but erythrocyte, plasma is liquid matrix, liquid part of the blood. So this is tissue and it is RBC. The surrounding material is plasma. Followed. So the carbon dioxide molecule going to diffuse into RBC as well as it going to diffuse into plasma. So you observe some amount of carbon dioxide going to diffuse in plasma and some amount of carbon dioxide going to diffuse into RBC. Followed. Right. Next. Formation of carbonic acid. The erythrocytes contain carbonic anhydrase enzyme, specialized enzyme. It is carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Most amount of carbonic anhydrase enzyme present in erythrocyte, little amount present in plasma. That's why in plasma also we learned the carbon dioxide combined with H2O and produce carbonic acid. So there little bit is present, but in erythrocyte major amount carbonic anhydrase enzyme is present. Ask in entrance examination, remember straight the enzyme name carbonic anhydrase enzyme. So that present in RBC, the this phenomena regulated by carbonic anhydrase enzyme, the carbon dioxide combined with water in the presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme and then produce what compound, H2CO3, called as what, carbonic acid. So carbonic acid is produced, H2CO3. Carbon dioxide combined with water and produce H2CO3. Followed? So it is mediated by carbonic anhydrase. Next, the H2CO3 immediately breakdowns and give rise H2O and as well as CO2. So after that we will discuss. So the formation, next phase is formation of carbonic acid. So it is tissue and RBC. Going to diffuse into RBC by the influence of carbonic anhydrase. The H2O molecule and CO2 molecule combine and produce H2CO3. Hello? So this is formation of carbonic acid. The second event restricted to Hamburger phenomena. The third event, breakdown of carbonic acid. So there you remember student, by the influence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, there in plasma also breakdown takes place, but that yields H2O and CO2. But here we found a little bit difference. You have to focus breakdown of carbonic acid. The enzyme carbonic anhydrase that present in RBC regulates this phenomena. The carbonic acid, by the influence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, it going to produce HCO3 minus ions plus H plus ions. So here the H2CO3 molecule break down and produce HCO3 bicarbonate ions and as well as H plus ions. Right. Third event, visual form you observe. The breakdown of carbonic acid is visual representation. So from tissue, the carbon dioxide going to move into plasma and RBC, and the carbon dioxide H2O combine and produce H2CO3, and now the H2CO3, the carbonic acid going to break down as HCO3 minus ion, and next as H plus ion. Follow? So the H2CO3 break down as H plus ion and HCO3 minus ion. Follow it? Right. Next, the fourth event is the reduction of hemoglobin. Observe tissue and RBC. So, the hemoglobin molecule present in erythrocyte. Now, the hemoglobin molecule going to reduction means it capable to accept hydrogen ions. So, HCO3 minus ions and H plus ions are there. The hemoglobin molecule has a histidine amino acid. Due to the ability of that histidine amino acid, it capable to receive these H plus ions. Alright. So now the HB combined with H plus ion and reduced as HB H plus. It reduced as HB H plus ion. So because of that reason, when the hemoglobin undergoes reduction, it picks up hydrogen plus ions, then immediately it lost affinity with oxygen, then immediately the hemoglobin delivers oxygen to the tissue. That is the reason. Remember students, the reduction of hemoglobin at tissue responsible for delivery of oxygen to the tissue. So at a tissue, what happening? The hemoglobin molecule picks up hydrogen plus ions and delivers oxygen. Beside that, it also picks up carbon dioxide to form carbaminohemoglobin. So remember students, at a tissue, the hemoglobin picks up both carbon dioxide and as well as H plus ion. The reduction of hemoglobin responsible, it is very very important, reduction of hemoglobin responsible to delivery of oxygen to the tissue. That is the cause based on reasons asked question in entrance examination. Alright, right. Next, last event, chloride shift. It is very very important asking short answer question. What is chloride shift? The chloride shift is nothing but whatever bicarbonate ions are produced, such bicarbonate ions from the cytoplasm of RBC, stroma of RBC. So, stroma means what? The central space of erythrocyte is called what? Stroma, contains cytoplasm. So, from stroma of RBC, the bicarbonate ions to be diffused out into plasma. The membrane of erythrocyte shows permeability, selective permeability membrane. So automatically these HCO3 minus ions to be diffused out into plasma. Suppose HCO3 minus ions are diffused into plasma as greater fashion. What happens? The plasma receives more number of HCO3 minus ions, and in the cytoplasm the number of ions to be decreased, level decreased. That's why the electrical balance to be disturbed, the balance to be disturbed between the concentration to be disturbed between plasma and cytoplasm of the RBC, that propagate abnormal effects. So to avoid that phenomena, to compensate that phenomena, so automatically what happens? The same amount of chloride minus ions also simultaneously shifts from plasma to the RBC to maintain the electrical balance. Follow student? For maintaining electrical balance. Why? Because continuously if HCO3 minus ions diffused into plasma, balance disturbed, electrical balance disturbed, to avoid that phenomena, simultaneously same fashion chloride minus ions from plasma side diffused into RBC. Alright, so this side to that side diffused into RBC to maintain electrical balance. Followed. That is chloride shift. Let us see visual representation of chloride shift tissue and RBC and all these reactions we learned. H2CO3 produced and going to break down and produce H plus and HCO3 minus and reduction of hemoglobin. Hello, yields HbH plus, and now the HCO3 minus ions are present inside the stroma of the RBC, and chloride minus ions are present in the plasma. Now going to chloride shift going to occur. You observe the movement. HCO3 minus ions shifted into the plasma outside, and simultaneously chloride minus ions are entered in RBC. So this phenomena is called chloride shift. Followed, students. So chloride shift for what purpose? It is for to maintain electrical balance. That is important. Followed, right? Next, the next event. Now the changes restricted to Hamburger's phenomena extended between RBC and alveoli. The same blood carried through veins and pulmonary artery to heart. The pulmonary artery from the heart carried to alveoli. So there now the subsequent reaction takes place. So the phase 1 completed at a tissue. Now the phase 2 going to extend between RBC and alveoli. These are erythrocytes and this is alveoli. The cluster of alveoli is like a bunch of grapes that present in lungs. So now this changes going to extended between RBC and alveoli. Let us see the changes. Whatever changes occur in phase 1, they are completely converse fashion in this phase. So the first event is reverse chloride shift. What is reverse chloride shift? So in before at a tissue we observed that chloride minus ion enter inside the RBC. HCO3 minus ion enter in plasma. So that is phenomena occur. But here what happens? The chloride minus ions from the cytoplasm of RBC to be diffused out into plasma. That is reverse chloride shift. The entire phenomena is reverse. So in phase 2, whatever reactions occur, whatever chemical changes occur, they are completely as the reverse fashion as that of phase 1. So here at alveoli, reverse chloride shift takes place. Remember, student, simultaneously the bicarbonate ions from the plasma again re-enter into RBC. Let us see visual representation for reverse chloride shift. So that is alveoli and RBC. Followed. This is reverse chloride shift. Chloride minus ions from inside to out, HCO3 minus ions from outside to in. Followed. So this is the reverse chloride shift. Right. Next, second event, oxidation of hemoglobin at alveoli. Their reduction of hemoglobin. Here you observe oxidation of hemoglobin. So what is oxidation of hemoglobin? The hemoglobin in reduced condition, HbH plus. Now the H plus ions relieved from the hemoglobin, that is oxidation, and simultaneously at alveoli the oxygen partial pressure is greater, hence it picks up the oxygen. Follow? So the hemoglobin molecule at alveoli going to pick up oxygen and going to relieve H plus ion, and simultaneously the carbamine hemoglobin also splits and produce relieve what carbon dioxide simultaneously. At alveoli, the hemoglobin relieves H plus ions and carbon dioxide and picks up what? Oxygen. Followed? Right. That is oxidation of hemoglobin. Right. Next, The formation of carbonic acid. Next event, formation of carbonic acid. Now the H plus ions relieved from the hemoglobin going to combine with HCO3. Alright? So then immediately produce H2CO3, carbonic acid. Alright? The breakdown of carbonic acid. Now the next event. So the carbonic acid is produced in cytoplasm of RBC. Now the H2CO3 is going to break down as carbon dioxide and as well as water. Right? It is possible mediated by carbonic anhydrase enzyme. So here in the cytoplasm of erythrocyte, the H2CO3 breakdown and gave rise what? Carbon dioxide molecule and water molecule. Such carbon dioxide molecule relieved into alveolar space and expel out in the expiration process. In the same manner, whatever carbon dioxide molecule relieved in plasma, they also expel out, correct? And simultaneously water also. So this is transport of carbon dioxide. So 100 ml of deoxygenated blood can release about 4 ml of carbon dioxide. Remember, now we are going to one more event, that is Haldane effect. Ask in entrance examination. What is Haldane effect? The effect of partial pressure of oxygen on carbon dioxide affinity with hemoglobin called Haldane effect. We learned Bohr effect there. There the influence of partial pressure of carbon dioxide we observed. But in Haldane effect you observe effect of partial pressure of oxygen on carbon dioxide affinity with hemoglobin. In what way the oxygen influences carbon dioxide affinity with hemoglobin? That explains Haldane effect. So the significance of Haldane effect. We learned there significance of Bohr effect. So what is the significance of Haldane effect? The Haldane effect propagate what things? It increase transport of carbon dioxide and it encourages exchange of carbon dioxide at tissue and alveoli. Right. This now you observe the converse things between Bohr effect and Haldane effect. Differences between Bohr effect and Haldane effect, let us see. So left side Bohr effect changes. These are RBC with hemoglobin molecule, tissue. So Bohr effect occur between RBC and tissue. Now what happening? The oxygen delivered to tissue and carbon dioxide accepted by the hemoglobin. That is the change in Bohr effect. So here the hemoglobin accepts the carbon dioxide and delivers the oxygen. Right. Next, Haldane effect at it is takes place at lungs. We found this phenomenon at lungs. Here the partial pressure of oxygen greater. So what happening here? Here the hemoglobin molecule going to accept the oxygen and going to relieve or deliver carbon dioxide into alveoli. Complete reversal mechanism. So these two mechanisms are converse mechanism. So Bohr effect and Haldane effect we completed. With this we finished transport of respiratory gases, both oxygen and carbon dioxide. In next session we are going to discuss about regulation of respiration